See in the chat, Maru was participating earlier because Crank told him to, I think. The pressure from Crank lifted and Maru's like, let's get lazy again. Smooch. Feels bad, man. Feels bad. Hopefully we'll call up Crank. Like, Papi, Hyung, J1. Gotta whip your boys into shape. Let's go. Get him out there. But for the time being, we are here loading into our second semifinals, and spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Neo Humanity, we have the South Korean Zerg player representing On-Side Gaming. It is Solar. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have the best Protoss player in all of South Korea, one of the best, if not the best, in the world, representing CranKy Gaming. It is herO. Oh my god. And we saw herO earlier today. We saw him wipe the floor with both Hon Mono and Estrella. herO on fire, as he typically is, but he's up against another top tier competitor in South Korea. Solar going for, or forced to take the unnatural natural, is opting to take the forward hatchery here. A much more aggressive base is being taken. You can take advantage of this gas geyser much more earlier to rush into a roach push. And pushes on Neo Humanity, they don't take too long whatsoever. This is the polar opposite, by the way, of the last series. If you remember, Dark versus Classic, Game 1 was Gressvan, Game 2 was Ancient Cistern, Game 3 was Altitude. The three largest maps in the map pool. Now the polar opposite, herO versus Solar, Game 1, Neo Humanity. Let's go. We'll just go like Neo Humanity into like Dragon Scales into Babylon. Like the most aggressive ZvP series we can get. We'll see. As, of course, herO, looking at his vision here, has he been able to confirm? No, he hasn't seen the hatchery yet. His probe still being a little bit annoying here in the main base. Just dancing with those drones, with that mineral line. As we see Solar's forced to make a couple of lings here so we can get his third base up on time. We are continuing to drone herO once again, still not quite checking which base has been taken, more concerned with delaying this hatchery for as long as he can. Back at home, it is going to be a Stargate opener, as to be expected. Pretty standard stuff here from herO, and Solar actually bypasses the probe here. Sends his first two lings across the map, the other two are here to deal with this pylon, and the Adept does confirm the natural base, the unnatural natural, if you will. Oof. And this is brutal. The Adept has arrived. And with this Adept positioning, herO is going to be able to lay the third base a little bit longer, as he is forced to shade away. So far, amidst all the chaos, Solar has been able to preserve his drone count. Oh, he does get a kill on one of the Adepts. The other does try to slip on by, but there is a queen here in position across the map. Those two lings that we saw earlier were able to slip on by the wall, get into the main base, get a full scout, and Solar is aware of the Oracle first. Well, the Stargate opener. Very nicely done here by Solar. As a result, he pays the price. The price of an earlier scout, and a confirmed scout is a later third base. Again, not the biggest of deals. As we are just saturating our bases, Solar isn't rushing into this gas geyser, bear that in mind. So just because we have taken this forward hatchery doesn't mean we're going to be going for an all-in, doesn't mean we're going to be going for a queen push across the map. It is likely, and the option is on the table, but this could also just be like a secure way to get creep on the map, to get a lot of map vision, map presence, and secure your third and soon to be, third and soon to be fourth base behind it. As the second Oracle is moving out. Behind this, we should be seeing our third base taken momentarily. There are lings in position though, and I was about to say, remember what I said on Altitude? I was talking about how thankfully that we're not casting herO on Altitude because he's willing to go into Sky Toss. Likewise, on Neo Humanity, herO does this often as well. So Neo Humanity, even though it's really small, the entrances to the bases are really narrow, which means Protoss players can be very turtly and very greedy, and they can wall off and they can rush into something like Skytoss like this. And likewise, like on Altitude, herO is willing to do this on Neo Humanity. Not like, not often, or like not the majority of the time, but every now and then he does go into this Skytoss style. Oh boy. Ay, ay, ay. Let's go, Puffy, let's go. Second star gets on the way. We're getting into Tempest first, not Carrier. Okay, an interesting style coming out from herO. Now, with your initial Tempest, this is the power of Neo Humanity as well. You have a slow zone to protect you, so you can actually lay siege upon this hatchery while being protected by this wall, by the terrain of this map as well. So I guess that's going to be the plan here of herO, to try to punish this forward base. With your first handful of Tempest, we do have the Tempest upgrade on the way as well to do bonus damage to buildings. Oh boy. And for the time being, Solar is in the dark. He hasn't seen this yet. He doesn't know. He hasn't been too active with his Lings. He does get confirmation that the third base is on the way, but that's all he does see as we are continuing to drone. Ay, ay, ay. As these Oracles have taken quite a number of hits already, so they're not the most impactful units here. They do get eyes on the fourth base at least, and we're going to try and get a little bit of scanning information in the main base. We do spot that lair. We throw down that Revelation just to get an eye on the, you know, whatever units come out, the gas count as well. As Solar's just been focusing on a Ling Roach army. Nothing too crazy, +1 melees on the way. Again, this army will do very well against Blink Stalkers. Against Skytoss, you could argue that he could ignore these Tempests and go for the third base. And here we go, the Tempests do reveal themselves. 3 Tempests already on the field. And the Lings immediately go for a counterattack. The Ling Roach Ravager, they can't really do too much at home. And I'm getting flashbacks. We're about to get the moment when I think I lag out. Tempest laying siege upon the base. Ling Roach Ravager do knock on the front door. Stalker is going to go down. The Lings are granted entry into the main. At the same time, Tempest focusing down to those queens. But the Tempests are being forced back. The Miles! Up! Oh, they do connect. Not enough to kill a Tempest, but they do manage to damage them. Meanwhile, the Ling counterattack actually did 0 economic damage. The probes did survive. Spire is on the way as we speak. Solar just trying to buy time with his Lings, with his Roaches, with his ground army. Tempest move out, but as the Tempest move out, in move those Lings and Roaches. But we have a ground army back at home. herO is going to be able to hold on. Queens doing what they can, but they're being sniped one after the other. This hatchery should fall. Up, up. And it doesn't go down, but we have 12 Corruptors on the way. And this is the danger here of herO, is that he does have a decent Tempest count, but Tempests are actually really fragile units. Like, they're very vulnerable. They have a hard time protecting themselves against Corruptors. We do need a ground army, and we are transitioning. We have 6 gates on the way, Blink and +1. We are stopping Stargate production. We are stopping Tempest production. We're transitioning into ground toss, Poppy. Ground toss. And how will this work out for herO? He did force a lot of Corruptors to be made. 12 Corruptors in total. They still have a use, obviously. They still can tango with these Tempests. The Corruptors do back up. herO working on his own 4th base. Solar, thankfully, even though he lost the hatchery, he didn't really lose too many drones. He was able to preserve his worker count, keep them alive. Then he set up a counterattack, but no, they run into the Protoss army. A decent chunk of Lings do go down, but only Lings. It's okay. We should be working towards a hive. I am a little bit concerned. Still Lair Tech, just Ling, Roach, Ravager, Corruptor. Which can still trade well against this. Like, as much as we're still in a Lair Tech army for Solar, likewise, herO doesn't have the most complex army either. He's working towards his Robo, he's working towards +2, but at least Tempest and Blink Stalkers can be dealt with here by this Roach army. So do see herO being forced back. The Tempests are looking a little bit exposed. They're going to be focused down one after the other. 2 Tempests do fall. Yeah, we want the rest. Oof. And only a single Tempest will survive. And this is where the Corruptors kind of become dead supply. They can try and Caustic Spray down some buildings, definitely. We'll see if they're able to do so. Gonna be rotating around, but no, they come across these Stalkers. A couple of Corruptors do get shaved off. I do think that now wouldn't be a bad time to transition into Void Rays. I do think that they have their place, but for the most part, herO, he wants to commit to the ground toss. Templar Archives on the way, charge as well. Zealots being sent out on the left-hand side. They do get spotted by these Corruptors. Solar's aware. We'll be able to meet up with this. As we do have the ground army here of herO pushing on forward on the right-hand side. Pushing pretty deep onto creep. He's got to be careful, got to respect this army. Meanwhile, the Corruptors are looking for some damage. The Banelings, they roll on in. Do we have a reaction out of herO? We do. He does preserve his workers. But the Corruptors, they don't care. They're going for the third base. At the same time, Solar keeps on pushing forward with his Roaches and his Ravagers. He's still going to take down not just one Nexus, but even a second. Both bases go down. Solar may trade out a hatchery, but he did get 2 Nexuses. 2 Nexi? And he saves the hatchery. Oh my god. Solar able to turn back around in time. That's me. Ah! Smooch. That's me, Papi. That's me. The ghost of light VIP past. My hat goes off to you. As we're going to be pushing on forward. herO in a really rough position after losing these 2 bases. Corruptors are looking for another Nexus. Solar has remaxed. Again, losing these Corruptors would be a good thing for Solar. Like, after they get another base, we want to be able to rebuild here with more Corruptors. Sorry, with more Roaches, with more Ling Main. Oh, can they get it? Up! Up! They will. Nexus will go down. Banelings rock up, but the base has already fallen, so they can't really get too much else here. We'll be forced to turn around. At this point, there's nothing else in the air to deal with. Corruptors have served their purpose. I guess I can deal with this Prism. We have 1 Corruptor left. You got 1 job. Get the Prism, Papi. Get it. As here is pushing on forward. He's kind of forced into an all-in at this point. He's losing so much on his side of the map, but he runs into Ling Bane and Roach Ravager. The army gets swallowed up. GG gets called. And Solar will take game number 1. GG. herO tried to be a little bit cheeky, and he was successful in sneaking out those Tempests and killing that first hatchery. Considering the tech that herO had available to him, I do think that the hard switch into ground toss was ill-advised. I don't know. I feel like he could have committed and started like working towards Void Rays and maybe rushed into Archon tech, delayed his Blink Stalkers instead. Like, there are definitely different ways that herO could have teched up from that point. Very rarely, I guess we should emphasize this point, very rarely do we even have like a Tempest Rush anyway. So it's a very unique game to begin with. But for a Protoss player to commit so heavily into pumping out Sky Toss, into pumping out those Tempests, and then just hard switch out of that into Blink Stalkers or into a Ground Toss army, it just isn't really done too often, for good reason, just because that transition is so delayed. It takes so long to actually have a solid, robust ground army after you know, investing so much into those Tempests. There's a really awkward moment there where you are vulnerable, and Solar took advantage of that completely. GG. GG, well played. And with that, Solar takes game number 1, and we're going to be getting into game number 2. Oh my, I was joking earlier, by the way, when I was like, watch us now get the 3 smallest map in the map pool. We started with Neo Humanity. Game 2, Dragon Scales. Let's go, Papi. Let's go. As spawning in the top left-hand corner of Dragon Scales, we have the South Korean Zerg player representing Onside Gaming. Onside Gaming taking game number 1 in this series. It is Solar. 1 game away from advancing on to the grand finals, and spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Protoss representing ZvP Gaming, trying to be a little bit cheeky in game number 1. It is herO. Let's go. Let us go, Bob. Yeah, pretty much. I see the chat catching up. All those temperatures just to kill a base. That's pretty much, right? Like that's all they really did. Unfortunately, just basically kill the hatchery. Nope. So we are getting into our second game, and so far Solar able to get his natural base up and running. You do love to see it. Was able to avoid that block as well. I think it was a 14 hatch, if I'm not mistaken, as we are setting up for a hatch gas pool. Not forced to take any kind of weird third base this time. Do love to see it. And likewise, herO back at home is setting up for a gate expand. So pretty economic stuff to start things off, but we are on Dragon Scales again, one of the smaller maps in the map pool. Not as small as Neo Humanity, obviously, but still quite small nonetheless. Doesn't take too long for pushes to move out across the map. That is also the downside of the playstyle of herO last game, is, you know, after he didn't invest so much in that Skytoss, like Solar had so much freedom, so much control in that game to go for all these constant run-bys, all these counterattacks. herO was having a hard time keeping up as he was transitioning into those Blink Stalkers. And we'll see how our players do adjust. That last game, I don't expect herO to rush into Skytoss again this series. Unless we load into altitude. Unless we get altitude, then if we get a game 3, then sure. But I don't expect a Fleet Beacon herO on Dragon Scales. It would be crazy. Would be crazy. Is herO crazy though? Sometimes. Sometimes he is. As the probe across the map is just going to be a little bit annoying, forcing out some lings, delaying the third base a little bit for a couple of seconds as he moves out across the map. And for the time being, we do have a standard opener here from herO. And we'll see where this all does take us. Oh, as that is not an Oracle, that is a Phoenix. Hello there. It is going to be a Phoenix first out of herO, so this can go into a couple of different directions. With this, we're going to be hunting down this Overlord, of course. We're going to be keeping Solar in the dark. We can go into Oracle production from here, and this can snowball actually as the Phoenix does zoom across the map, avoiding this Overlord entirely. Maybe looking for that second Overlord instead. Looking to potentially come across it. Now this can get a little bit dangerous. Once we do have 2 Oracles, herO can actually dive and threaten mineral lines far more, in a much more deadly capacity, just because this Phoenix can CC and lift up the defending queens, and things can snowball out of control. So here we go, we have that first Oracle out already, we have a second Oracle on the way. As the Phoenix hasn't been able to find any additional Overlords yet. We'll eventually clean up the Overlord back at home, but he was hoping to find maybe a second Overlord before the Phoenix really did reveal itself. As the Lings are setting up for a bit of a counterattack. To punish his opponent, herO throws down the Twilight Council immediately behind this, and now the Oracle and the Phoenix do join forces, and we're just heading across the map. What do we have at home to defend? We have a Phoenix here, so we have 2 queens at the third base. They're going to be rotating on over, meeting up with the queens here at the natural. We do lift them up. We do go straight for the mineral line. Oh, but we don't get that much damage done. 3 drones go down. Oh, did I say 3? I meant to say 5. 6 drones. Oh, almost 7 towards the end. Not too bad. The Oracles do survive. And the Phoenix is able to get a scout off here in the main base, just getting an eye on any kind of lair timing, any additional gases, trying to figure out what Solar is up to. Lings do finally go for a counterattack, and they will force these adepts back home. But the third base is safe and sound. So yeah, so far not bad, as, oh my god, herO has been very efficient with his army. Another 3 drones go down, no Spore here at the third base, Solar being punished for cutting some corners. With that 9 drones, a Ling, an Overlord, for nothing. Nothing yet. And this is typically what we expect from herO. It's just typically hyper efficient with his army. Lings are looking for a surround though, and finally some units are going to be going down. One adept does fall. As the adepts do commit, and they're going to be focusing down as many of these drones as they can. Good positioning here in the mineral line as well. 4 drones go down. The oracles don't dive in yet. They're looking for an opening, but the queens are in position. As the oracles just edge their way closer. And behind this herO is, of course, transitioning into Blinkstalkers, into +1. Has to be careful not to be caught exposed, but there we go. He does pull back in time. Oracle, finally the first Oracle does go down, but after 16 drone kills. Oh my god. Up. Oof. Second Oracle was left a little bit idle there, so a little bit of miscontrol by herO and good pickoffs by Solar. I was talking about this when we were casting Classic, but herO does this quite often. We have another Oracle on the way to replace the ones we just lost. You love to see it. herO, he knows the value of oracles, and that at every stage in a game, in a PvZ, they are useful. Stalker is going to be threatening across the map. We do have a proxy gateway being set up as well. How many gates do we have? We have 6 gates, about to be 7. herO looking to try and bust through the defenses of Solar. Initially, the adepts were just harassing and crippling the economy of Solar. He's been trying desperately to drone up, but this 4th base is exposed. Lings do go for a counterattack, but no, the stasis trap goes off. Lings do get caught. Shield battery is about to finish up as well. herO, this position will not be broken, and he wants that hatchery. He's gonna get it. We have some queens that do have some transfused energy, but there's only so much they can do. herO is not taking into Robo, into Colossi, into Archons. Blinkstalkers are all he needs. And Solar recognizes that he can't hold on to this space. He does evacuate. I love that herO ignores it. He knows he has the momentum right now. He wants to trade with the army. He wants those queens. Gonna be losing some of these Stalkers though in the retreat. At the same time, the Lings, they do manage to slip on in. The wall was not a wall. But herO warps in plenty of adepts back at home. The Lings don't find any damage. The 4th base goes down. Solar knocked down to only 3 bases. What kind of army does he have to work with? Still just Ling Roach Ravager. Sorry, just Ling Roach. And he just hasn't been able to build up his army. He's just been bleeding out far too many Lings, far too many Roaches throughout the course of this game. This is snowboarding out of control. GG gets called, and snowballing even. Oh my god. As herO ties up the series 1-1, we're going to the ace match. GG. I think I was thinking waterboarding. I don't know why. God. GG, well played. Congratulations. We have a game 3. We have an ace match. We're going the distance, and we are not getting Babylon. I was assuming, I was like, yo, we're gonna get the 3 smallest maps, so we're gonna go Neo into Dragon into Babylon. Is not the case. Third match is gonna be taking place on Gresvan. Oh, much larger map. But yeah, herO getting quite out of control early on in that game. Oh, as I do think I did accidentally. Yeah, hold on, my mistake. There we go. I do apologize. I did accidentally adjust my gain in the middle of that game. Back to normal. Here we go. We're getting into the ace match, and spawning in the top left-hand corner of Gresvan, we have the South Korean Zerg player representing Onside Gaming. It is Solar. Chat is pre-recorded. Spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Protoss player representing CranKy Gaming. It is herO. Let's go. Forcing the ace match, forcing game 3. Having a pretty intense game number 2, to be honest, for herO to, again, just get out of control quite early on with the Adept Harass, with the Oracle Harass, leading in towards that 7-gate 3-base all-in with +1 from herO. Hit very hard, and Solar was just unable to recover in time to deal with that. herO, he smelled blood in the water, and he went for it. Went for the execution. Now we're getting into the ace match. ChatGPT dictates my chat messages. Are you No Clone? Earlier, a couple of days ago, No Clone was just spamming some ChatGPT suggested messages for a while. He became an AI. Shaking my head. Shaking my head. The wall was not a wall. Now my brain hurts. I mean, it's accurate, right? It's accurate, right? The wall was not a wall. It was open, papi. Ay, ay, ay. The door was taken off its hinges. It was gone. So we're getting into this game. Solar just forced to take the unnatural natural. Hatch gas pool setup nonetheless, though. Nothing too crazy. Standard economic setup here by Solar. Again, it's going to be on him to try to react. It's going to be on him to try to minimize losses as well. herO trying to be fancy last game with that Phoenix opener. I doubt we're going to see that again. On a map like Gresfan, I wouldn't be opposed to even a triple Oracle opener into Adept Harass. Into +1 Blink Stalkers. Vamos. Dale. Fala galera, papi. Fala galera. ¿Qué tal? ¿Cómo estás? Yo, speaking of Fala Galera, a shout out to Cosmos, by the way. Cosmos, now a papi, now a father. For those who maybe don't know who I'm talking about, Cosmos is a StarCraft caster. He's a Brazilian caster. He's actually a pretty big Brazilian caster in the StarCraft scene, the biggest there is. And I think it was 2 days ago or last night, he did tweet out that he's the dad now. He's the dad. He's the papi. We're all getting older. We're all getting older. Some of us are getting wiser. Crazy. It's crazy that, like, you know, now there are like more people with families. Like Jim Rising has a son. Cosmos now has a kid as well. TLO. Ay, ay, ay. It's crazy, crazy. The next generation is upon us. The Stormgate generation. Let's go. As we're getting into this game, and yeah, once again, just going to be an Oracle. I say once again, this time, no Phoenix. It is going to be an Oracle opener coming out from herO. First one being sent out across the map. Lings are also being active here, just trying to force these adepts back home, trying to delay the third base if possible, but alas, they are being fended off. As a couple of them do bypass those adepts, and they're going to be able to threaten this third base at least a little bit. They do force the Oracle back home, and they force the activation of this Pulsar Beam as well. So pretty good stuff from Solar. To be able to just give himself a little bit more time to get these spores up and running and get his queens in position. We have 2 queens at the third base. We have 1 queen, soon to be 2 at the natural. The main is a little bit exposed, but we have a spore to make up for that. Oof. So the Oracles do threaten that mineral line. They do catch 1 transferring drone. Oh, and we're going to get a couple more here at the third base. The queens, they're off creep. And 5 workers go down. All it takes is 1 mistake, 1 misstep. Solar wasn't quite ready for that run by this third base, and he comes back in. 7 drones going down in total. Solar responding with a Roach Warren a little bit early. I think that was a 4-minute 50-ish Roach Warren. Not too early, though. Just to be ready and in time for those Stalkers. This was a triple Oracle opener, by the way. The third Oracle is going to be staying back at home. The other two across the map dancing between the bases. We've already gotten 7 drone kills, and we're looking for some more. Got eyes on the 4th base, and this time the queens are going to be able to fend us off, but no, we're looking to force a cancel on the 4th, and we should be able to. Oof. We get the cancel, and we get a drone kill as well. Very nicely done here by herO. Behind this is getting his 3rd base fully saturated, again transitioning into +1 and those blink stalkers. Oh, he's gonna get a 2nd cancel. Ay ay ay. The oracles are here, the adepts as well. With this DPS, we are gonna be forced to cancel the 4th base for a 2nd time. A rough start for Solar, not gonna lie. Being contained to 3 bases like this is brutal. I mean, he's got 3 base saturation, sure, but he needs a 4th desperately. At this point, he may just double expand. Oh no, not again! No shot! Oh my god! Mate, as a Zerg player, I know Solar's smudging right now. I can envision him shaking his head as we speak. He just wants to expand, Papi. He just wants a 4th base. Leave him alone. Not like this. The Lings, they go for a counterattack. +1 air attack is revealed, by the way. There is an Overlord here. I wonder if this is a fake out or if this is intentional, because this is why. Oh, he's going. No! No! herO! He's going for the mental victory. He wants to destroy Solar in body and mind. He's going for Sky Toss because he knows he can. Oh my god. Well, what's important, we have an Overlord and it does scout the tech. It sees both the Stargate and the fleet beacon and +1 range. Everything has been spotted by this one Overlord. A Spire is thrown down immediately. Now Solar doesn't have the best economy. Oh, as an Oracle goes down. Solar doesn't have the best economy because of his very delayed 4th base, but he at least has the knowledge and he at least has the tech on the way. He desperately needs these gas guys though. We can see him already taking these. Like, we need our additional gases here if we want to produce corruptors. As the Stalker's already hitting the field. Carrier production commencing. That one Overlord, mate, has done so much. This is the MVP Overlord. It sees everything. Everything there is to see. And herO, he wants the Overlord to watch. God. As the 5th base is cancelled. Ling's just trying to be a little bit active here, forcing a reaction out of his opponents. And herO should be aware that he's been scouted, because I'm pretty sure the Lings earlier saw the Cybercore researching, so that can only mean one thing. That can only be Skytos as a 3rd Stargate gets thrown down. So herO should know that Solar knows, to be honest. And we'll see how this dynamic does turn out. That Overlord finally going to go down to that carrier. And with this revelation, herO is going to get eyes on those corruptors as they pop out from those eggs. So herO knows it isn't safe to move out. He knows that he has to bank up his corruptors back at home. We're already working towards Archons. Templar Archives is on the way. Archons do an amazing job at supporting Skytos units, at zoning away corruptors. But Solar is going to be the first player to max. Ling, Bane, Roach, Corruptor. Really terrifying army. We are lacking in upgrades just because we had to rush into that Corruptor tech. herO has to respect this. He has to back off. Can he defend against this push? That's the question. What do we have at home to defend? We have a lot of safe defense. We have 2 shield batteries and 3 cannons here at the 3rd base. At the 4th, we have even more shield batteries and cannons as well. herO is getting ready for the push. At the same time, Adeptor has 3 Adepts, already getting so much done. 3 drone kills. We pull back the army for a moment. Solar wants to go for the push, but herO is ready for this. Solar trying to force his way through. He does crash into the side defense, but he's going to lose all of his Ling Bane. And the main army of herO stands strong. He did actually lose a lot of Zealots, which is why his supply did plummet a little bit, but we are transitioning into Void Rays as we speak. We should be replacing the stack defense. We need to replace those cannons and shield batteries. Otherwise, the second push could break herO. Pylon does get cancelled. We haven't replaced those shield batteries, by the way. As Solar's pushing on forward, the Baneling's rolling on in as well. They will be connecting with said Archons, which is not the best connections, not gonna lie. Corruptors do take down one of the carriers, but the ground army still stands strong. Oof, and we are bleeding out a lot of roaches. That's the important thing to bear in mind. You can argue, like, hasn't Solar maxed out twice? He did, but roaches are inflated supply. The soup does sometimes lie when roaches are involved. Yeah, not the most efficient army from Solar. And pushing into like a defensive position like this, into a fortified base, it is always a difficult thing to do. Now, once again, we haven't replaced those cannons or shield batteries, so I hope that herO at least sets them up here at the forward base. There we go. Oh. As the Corruptors are looking for some more value, looking for some pickoffs, but they get caught out by the Blink Stalkers. As the Stalkers are out of position, Ling Roach pushes forward, but the carriers are waiting for them. Stalkers looking to come back. They are looking a little bit exposed, though. But who is exposed by who? Who surrounds who here, as the Stalkers are going to be going down to Ling to the Roaches, but they do blink back to the safety of those carriers. Archons zone away the Corruptors, and herO takes another efficient fight. GG gets called. Solar loses too much too quickly, and herO takes the series 2-1. GG. The positioning there from herO was insane. Like, the Corruptors, they could not get anywhere near those carriers. Likewise, the Roaches as well, caught off of creep, weren't really trading too well against the Stalkers. Was it a bait by herO? Maybe. As he does outposition his opponent, and herO will take the series 2-1. Advancing on to the grand finals, and in the finals, Dark was patiently waiting. We casted Dark versus Classic earlier. That was the upper semifinals match. And now we have another ZvP, the final one of the night, the final series of the night, best of 5. Let's go. Let us go.